Many thanks for joining us here on News Today to have a first story. And voting in the NDC's parliamentary primary in Akwatia in the Eastern region has been marred by confusion after the polling agent of one of the aspirants, Basil Ahiable, pulled out a knife and threatened to stab followers of the incumbent MP Baba Jamal. Correspondent Haruna Yusuf Wumpini joins me on phone now with more on this incident in the Eastern region. So, Haruna, tell us more about this incident you speak of.
I can tell you for sure that at that particular Akwatia Lorry Park polling station where the incident happened, this gentleman, I was right in the polling station when this man pulled something from his pocket. Then we saw him moving towards the guy that he wanted to stab the knife with. So when he was moving towards, there was an agitation. They were just exchanging words like this. Then finally, he used the knife. He raised the knife up like this, and people around, they rushed him because they knew what he's coming to do is bad. So they rushed him and then they hurt him and took the knife by force from him. So you can check the video itself. You see him rushing him, wanting to collect the knife from him. You see, so when they took the knife from him, then a car came and then took him right away. So we don't know currently where the car took him to. We don't know. There were some few policemen at that particular police station. By then, this deputy regional police commander had come to the polling center and left before this incident happened. So I was expecting they had even called to tell him he should have said maybe at that time they had visited that polling center, this and this did not happen. But only to deny. And if they deny, I think it's left on to them. Because as far as I'm concerned, I was right at the polling station when this incident happened.
Interesting. Let's try now and get some. Please hold on for me anyway, Haruna, but I'll quickly try and get some responses from the police on this particular issue. And joining us over the telephone lines now is ACP James Abbas Azuma, who is the Deputy Regional Police Commander for the area, and he joins us over the telephone lines now with much more on this. So, ACP, good afternoon. Many thanks for your time on the show. Now, the first question is, are you in fact aware of this particular incident and whether or not your men have been able to make any arrests whatsoever?
I have no idea about what the young man is talking about. So if you can give me what he said, I don't understand what he said.
Okay, so our correspondent on the ground tells us that there's been some violence there, particularly at the Akwatia Lorry station, where a gentleman said to be.
Please, can you repeat the name of the police station?
The Akwatia Lorry station. He tells us that there's a polling station there, and there was a follower of one of the aspirants there, who, in fact, a party agent for one of the aspirants there, who actually pulled out a knife threatening to stab followers of the other.
I'm afraid I can't hear you because I'm in a moving vehicle.
Right.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yes. Now
I can hear you clearly. I am saying that the information we have from our correspondent, who is actually on the ground, is that one of the aspirants, followers of one of the aspirants, one particular follower, is said to have pulled out a knife threatening to stab followers of the other. Are you aware of this? And if so, have your men on the ground been able to make any arrests whatsoever?
I'm not aware. I'm currently at Benassi, and I'm not aware of that incident.
And it hasn't come to your attention whatsoever? Nobody has called you to inform you of this?
Nobody has told me it until I heard it from you. So if there is any of such things, they should report to the policemen on the ground who will call for reinforcement to effect arrest. That's the procedure. I don't even need to know, but if there's something like that going on, you simply draw the policemen on the ground's attention to it. If they cannot contain the situation, they will call for a patrol team to come and pick the troublemaker.
So you do admit that there's a possibility that the incident might have happened, but your men have just not communicated to you.
I won't guess, and I can't guess. I'm not used to guessing.
Right.
But I've not heard it.
Okay. Well, many thanks for your time, ACP James Azuma.
If it really happens,
James Azuma Abbas is the Deputy Regional Police Commander for the area. We still have on the phone lines our correspondent, Haruna Yusuf Wompene, who's still on the ground, I must add. Haruna, again, we were of reports of some persons being prevented from voting because they were alleged to be followers of the NPP or MPP members. Is that the case?
Yeah, exactly is the case. MPP people, this particular party youth are claiming that those are MPP people. When they come, they will not allow them to vote. I was right away from that polling station, that is Yoruba Mosque polling station, where some people came and they were prevented because they said they are MPP supporters. So they will not allow them to vote because this is an election for NDC, it's not for MPP. So they will not allow them to vote. So they are right there to speak to you.
But these people you speak of, did they have their names on the register as NDC members who were eligible to cast their ballots in the first place?
Yes, that is the first thing I also did. I cross-checked from the presiding officer from that polling station, only to be told that some of their names, those people who came to vote, their names are not in the register.
Quite interesting. There will be bringing you a lot more on that as well. But many thanks for that particular update. Haruna Yusuf Wompene will be coming to you for a lot more in subsequent bulletins. And that was our correspondent from the Eastern region, Haruna Yusuf Wompene, bringing us a lot more on that particular election ongoing, the primary ongoing in Akwatia in the Eastern region. We'll bring you a lot more on our subsequent bulletins. But moving on now. And the president's decision to reshuffle some appointees has been received with lots of uncertainty. Now, President Mahama this morning released what is perceived by many as his first list of reshuffled ministers. Now, notable amongst the names is Prosper Bani, who is heading for the Interior Ministry, after earlier serving in government as Chief of Staff, while Mr. Makoyongo heads for the presidency as the Minister of State. Neil Ante Vanderpoel is Youth and Sports Minister designate, while Fifi Fiavekwete is to fill the vacuum created at the Transport Ministry by following Jifa nomination. But speaking on Joy News a while ago, editor of the Finder newspaper Elvis Darko believes the move by the president is critical, particularly seeing that this year is an election year.
A government is in power because a political party has won an election. So for any appointment to be made for somebody to be a minister or any government appointee, political considerations are important. And if in an election year we are seeing changes, then we should also be considering that these changes are just not coming. They are changes that are coming because probably the party is considering which people can really do the job for the party to retain power in November. Because at the end of the day, these people are the ones who are going to be the face of the government aside the presidency. These ministers and appointees are going to be the ones who should have a good relationship with the foot soldiers on the ground and be able to convince them that there's a need for them to go out there and campaign for the party to remain in power. So for a reshuffle in an election year, you cannot do it without political considerations. Whilst you are looking for competent people, you want those competent people you are appointing to also be people that are in tune with the party supporters at the grassroots. And although the Constitution says the president of the president, we all know that president cannot just wake up and say, I'm appointing somebody as a minister to do it. The president would need to do a lot of consultation, especially with the party hierarchy, that I want to do a reshuffle, but who are the best people do you think we put there that can do well? Because for the ministers as individuals in the various ministries, they are only going there to implement the blueprint of the government. What government policy should be on a Greek is already determined. The minister is just going there to supervise that such a policy is implemented. If funds are not released for the ministry, the minister cannot do anything, because at the end of the day, the policy needs to be implemented with resources.
Mr. Darko also believes the reassignment of Interior Minister Mark Woyongo is long overdue, following the minister's unsavory comments on violence begets violence sometime last year.
As a political party in power, you want the best competent people in the party to be appointed as ministers of state and government appointees. But such people should not be those who will neglect the interests of the party. Because if they do, then you are out of government.
What do you think was the trigger for the president shifting Mr. Woyongo?
Well, we can't tell because the president doesn't tell us why they are shifting people. But for me, I think that as an election year, Interior Ministry is very important. And for someone like Mark Woyongo, who had said that violence beget violence, and we get into an election year, I think that it is good that he is removed, because if you tell me that violence beget violence and we are heading into an election year, and the Minister of Interior is in charge of internal security. So if we are going to an election and we want peaceful election, and Minister of State is on tape having said that violence beget violence, I don't think that that minister should remain in that position whilst we head into election. So for me, Makoyongo being removed from the Interior Ministry, which is very key in terms of our internal peace, for me, that is.
But
okay.
Assessing. Now, the Ghana Immigration Service is urging the citizenry to have confidence in the country's security forces, emphasizing the efficiency of measures put in place to stem any rippling effects from the Burkina Faso attack on Ghana. Public Relations Officer of the service, Francis Pamdeti, intimated the capacity of the country's security service should not be underestimated.
We've been following developments in Ouagadougou, and for some time now we have stepped up patrol activities because we think that the sub-region has these brewing terrorist elements, and following the global situation, every country is called upon to be vigilant and alert. So our external partners, we've been collaborating with our external partners with regards to such activities, but with particular reference to what's happening in Ouagadougou, we have increased our patrol activities around the borders, both the approved and unapproved routes. Our director has issued directives to all our regional commanders, all our sector commanders, and BPU operatives to increase vigilance and patrols. At the border, we also collaborate with other security services. We have BNI, intelligence, the police, all others, which form up what we call the BOSEC, are all on high alert. We believe that with the cooperation of our citizens who live along the borders, we should be able to identify any individual who looks suspicious.
Is there something else that is informing this heightened security measures? Is it because of the unfortunate incident that happened in Ouagadougou, or we actually have some feedback that something's going to happen to us here in Ghana?
Usually in the month of December, when most people are enjoying the Christmas festivities, we increase our operations, because we know during that period the tendency to have miscreants take advantage of the fun mood is high. So we don't go on leave. Men are always on the ground during December. So it's just a spillover in January, because people are now coming back to work, and with the information we've had in Ouagadougou, we just felt that we just have to keep the same posture going forward.
Let's turn our attention to health now. And government says it is taking full cost of treatment for people battling with the deadly pneumococcal disease in the Bono-Ahafo and northern regions. Health officials in Teshiman in the Bono-Ahafo region have stepped up surveillance and monitoring following the death of 6 people from pneumococcal meningitis infections there. Now, 2 more people are said to have died over the weekend, bringing to 26 the total number of deaths in the region so far. Speaking on the AM show, Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Victor Saribampo, says people should report early to health facilities when symptoms begin to show, adding that medical supplies have been dispatched to the Bono-Ahafo region to ensure health officials get the needed logistics in fighting the disease.
Let me say quickly that, there's nothing to worry about. It's something that is in hand, so I think there's no need for fear and panic. But whatever it is, the districts that are affected, the region, they've done fantastic work to make sure that it doesn't spread any further. So when we were there last week, there had been about 55 cases. It's gone up since then, and there had been 19 deaths. I think that has also gone up by 2. But it is something that is being handled very, very, we're taking it very seriously to make sure that it does not spread. So,
but are we in total control since we're still recording some deaths?
Absolutely, we're in total control. The challenge with the pneumococcal meningitis is that sometimes there are residual effects. First of all, the I told you that it's more virulent. So the number of people who die compared to CSM is a bit higher. Your chances are brighter if you come to hospital quicker. And the second thing is that sometimes, especially children, you would have some residual effects like deafness, some alteration of the mental state, and so on. But all these things can happen. The most important thing is come early to hospital so that you can avoid some of these residual effects.
Okay. But this treatment is not for free unless you are on some insurance, right? Is it expensive? Because I want to believe that maybe sometimes one of the reasons people don't report to the hospital early would be probably because they feel they don't have the funds.
You see, extraordinary times call for extraordinary responses. The 1,500 vials of the medication that we sent is quite expensive, but what we've told the facilities is that those should be given free to the patients. At this time, it's about saving lives. It's not about the money.
Okay.
And the director of surveillance at the Ghana Health Service personally left. I think we got back on Saturday last week. He left on Sunday with the medications. Make sure that they are distributed to the facilities. We'll save lives first, and then we'll think about the rest later.
You're watching News Today here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. We're taking a break. We'll return shortly with some more. Don't go away. Many thanks for staying with us here on News Today. To some more stories now, and 2 judges involved in the controversial judicial bribery scandal are back in court with a new suit against the Chief Justice, the Judicial Council, and 5 others. Now, Justices Paul Derry and Gilbert Asiado are demanding full payment of their salaries and a restoration of other allowances, all of which were withdrawn shortly after they were indicted for trading justice for money. Now, the 2 in a 5-page writ are demanding 5 reliefs from the court, including a declaration that the decision to put them on half salary was unconstitutional. Kwacha Freniama has more.
We know that out of the 7 judges who were suspended by the Judicial Council, Justice Derry, who is part of the plaintiffs, was excluded because, and the explanation that the Judicial Council gave at the time was that because he had some issues pending in court, they put that on hold. But Justice Asiado, whose name is here as well as one of the plaintiffs, he was part of the 7 who were suspended. And the declarations, the key declarations they are seeking from the court is one, that the decision by the first defendant, and we're talking about the first defendant here, that's the Judicial Council, to then the Judicial Council wrote a letter on the early in January, saying that they are slashed their allowances and their salaries, and they are saying that the court should declare that as null and void. As you may know, a special appeals court judge has been appointed to sit on all these cases to determine which way it should go. The second declaration is that the decision by the first defendant, that's again the Judicial Council, which was contained in the letter to suspend the payment of these allowances to them, be declared as inconsistent and in contravention with Article 127, Clause 5 of the 1992 Constitution. And also, they are asking for an order nullifying the named decisions by the Judicial Council, and again, talk about the decision to slash their allowances and all that. We know that as of now, Justice Derry, for example, is still using his official car because of this decision by the Judicial Council to suspend whatever decision had to be taken. Not he should be suspended or not. And also another key issue is that they want an order of perpetual injunction restraining the Judicial Council of any of its assigns. And in this particular rate, you have the Chief Justice as well, who has been sued, the Controller and Accountant General's Department sued in this case, any of the assigns from implementing this decision, which of course they was again stated in that letter written to them.
Okay, so going through the rates myself, I see them persistently mentioned a particular clause. I'm hoping I can. I think it's Article 127, Clause 5 of the Constitution. What I told we have there?
Article 127, Clause 5 of the Constitution states that the emoluments talk about the salaries, allowances of judges shall not be varied to their disadvantage, especially when it has to do with a situation where they have taken a leave of absence, and they are quoting this particular article, which you mentioned. They cited in a number of the key points that they made in terms of their relief, saying that the Judicial Council is breaching that dictates of the Constitution. And so per that aspect, as I mentioned, you cannot vary a judge's gratuities, which is cited in the Consolidated Fund.
Now, joint investigations have revealed that electronic roadworthy stickers procured by the Driving Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, are being faked by fraudsters known as Goro Boys. Now, the DVLA was pushed to switch to electronic stickers due to the alarming rate at which the manual stickers were being counterfeited. Joining us, Koitinati has more in the following report.
Over here at the DVLA office in Accra are hundreds of brown and white boxes packed on shelves in a store. Each box has the inscription, "Handle with care," printed on one side and the logo of the DVLA on the other. And each of these boxes contains manual roadworthy stickers. The Controller and Accountant General's Department supplied the DVLA with 1.5 million pieces based on the request of the authority in November 2013. Robert Kujo is Public Relations Officer at the Controller.
On the 8th of November 2013, we received a request for the printing and supply of roadworthy certificate, that is the manual or the stickers, the manual type. And so, Controller initiated the procurement process, and on the 28th of May 2014, a contract was awarded for the procurement of these stickers.
The DVLA sold one of these stickers for 30 cedis. This, multiplied by 1.5 million pieces procured, amounts to over 40 million cedis. But 2 years after they were supplied, the stickers have still not been used. Only a few boxes have been used. The rest packed and now gathering dust. The manual stickers became useless a few weeks after the introduction of the electronic roadworthy ones. According to the Controller, the DVLA was to phase out the old gradually as it introduces the new ones.
The automated system was to be implemented side by side the manual roadworthy stickers until it covers the entire nation. So I must say that the decision to declare a value book as obsolete is determined by the operations of the entity concerned, and this was DVLA.
The DVLA says the rate at which the manual stickers were being faked by Goro Boys was alarming and had to switch to the electronic ones.
I can say it was widespread in that on daily basis we come across people who would just print any form of paper and handwrite on it as if it's coming from DVLA. It is difficult to also know where that thing was produced. So as a way of preventing this doubt, we had to move away from the manual stickers.
The director in charge of vehicle inspection and registration, George Acom, tells me he's confident the sophisticated features of the electronic stickers are difficult to reproduce without the database of the DVLA.
New stickers have barcodes, and that the police can use their electronic scanners to scan to read the details of the information of the car as well as its owner. The barcodes cannot be reproduced by anybody except DVLA software.
Head of Public Affairs at the Controller and Accountant General's Department, Robert Kujo, says since the introduction of the electronic stickers, Goro Boys have been out of business. To test this claim, I visit the wager office of the DVLA. Francis is one of the well-known Goro Boys who operate here. He agrees to get me an electronic roadworthy sticker without having my vehicle go through inspection.
The system is very busy, and if we said we'll bring the car, can you bring the car?
Oh yes, I can bring the car, but the thing is there are 1 or 2 problems with the car, so...
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So in this case, I'm going to do it without the car, but then that one will take about 3 days.
And this can be acquired for 150 Ghana cedis.
Oh, that was introduce you, but you come for Abuja.
Yeah. Now we the beg you.
We are about the book. Everything we do that.
We the beg you. We the beg you. We the beg you.
This one this one one day.
We the beg you. Make you give you 100.
I mean, I will tell you.
I the beg you.
You go 50. You go 50.
We the beg you.
I will change the book or write another book. This book, if I put the office, I will give you see the information.
True to his claim, he gets me a roadworthy sticker, assuring it's genuine. But after the 2-dimensional barcode scanner is run on the electronic sticker, it comes out as fake. ASP Suleiman Sule Jr. is operations officer of the Accra Central MTTD.
This information is to tell you that this didn't go through the system at the DVLA. And so straight away, when you use the scanner, you will see the information indicating an error.
Whether old or new stickers of the DVLA, the fact is they are being faked. The old stickers worth millions of Ghana cedis, procured with the taxpayers' money, rot in the storerooms of the DVLA. I'm Kwete Nate for Joy News, Accra.
Now, over 200 Ghanaian workers of Keres Gaval, the company in charge of the construction of the Kaswa interchange, are demonstrating against the dismissal of their colleagues. Now, according to the protesters, 12 Ghanaian workers were unfairly dismissed. Now, they are demanding that 2 of their Brazilian supervisors, Miguel and Fernando, be sacked. Let us speak to the public relations officer of the Kaswa interchange project, Tariq Amadou, joins us live now over the phone lines now. Mr. Amadou, good afternoon, many thanks for your time. Are you aware of this development?
Good afternoon to your cherished listeners. Yes, I am, or should I say we are. What actually happened was this morning I had a message last week from one of their local, that is their vice chairman of the local union here, that there were some concerns that have to do with arbitral dismissal of some of the workers, which I spoke to the consultant about, and then later I got the project manager also, and then they said, they were resolving it. The local union petitioned their mother union, which is the Construction and Building Materials Workers Union. With this, a letter dated 15 January 2016 was dispatched, and then just yesterday, the contractors were given this letter. And the letter is a request for meeting to discuss grievances of workers, which is slated for Thursday. So, just as management were praising them meeting, then this morning we're hit with this demonstration by the workers.
Okay, so what you say now is that management was preparing to actually hold a meeting with these workers to address their concerns.
Yeah, their mother union, no, not the local. You know, we have the local union here. The local union petitioned their mother union concerning these dismissal, and then the mother union in turn they wrote to the contractor that they were going to have a meeting slated for 21st January, which is Thursday, at 10 a.m. at the campsite. So
And the union, the local union, just confirmed that they had a copy. So then we asked, we just finished a meeting with them. In fact, we've been able to resolve the issue on they are starting work. They are starting work at 1 o'clock from here. We've been able to talk to their local union. We've resolved whatever impasse that we've been able that has cropped up pending the meeting on Thursday.
Okay, many thanks for your time on News Today. We'll be monitoring the situation, be bringing viewers on this particular one, and that was the Public Relations Officer of the Kaswa Interchange Project, Tariq Amadou. You're still watching News Today here on your Joy News channel. Time now for business. So time now to talk some money. Here is Atani bringing us a little more. Hi, Atani.
Hello, Chenchen.
Okay, so we meet again. This time around, what do you have for me?
The city. You remember yesterday you were overwhelmed that the city had gotten to 4 cedi to $1. Yeah. Well, we've been speaking to some analysts on what to do to save the sinking city, and they have been sharing their opinions with us.
Right.
Now, the recent call for the Ghana cedi to be devalued appears to be gaining some support from sections of the financial community. The latest to back this call is the Chief Executive of Finance House Dealers, Ken Thompson. Vice President Kwesi Emisartha at the recent meeting with English-speaking members of ECOWAS asked members to consider devaluing their currencies against the dollar to help fast-track the introduction of the But for Mr. Ken Thompson, the current depreciation of the Ghana cedi makes a strong case for the devaluation of the to be carried out very soon.
You see, the government needs to raise revenue. I mean, we're in a bind. Over 80% of our income is spent on wages and salaries, statutory payments, and interest on loans. So we need to raise more revenue. Maybe we should consider property tax and see how much we can raise from property taxes. But in an environment which is not developing quickly economically, I even have my doubts about the ability of people to pay it. In any case, I mean, are the properties registered? So we need to look at all those things, but we need to increase the net, and we've got to find maybe other innovative ways to raise money. But I still go back to the point, we have to devalue our currency, and we have to devalue our currency. The point at which we are now, we have to take some very painful decisions, and the longer we wait, the more difficult it becomes. And everybody I've spoken to, when I say devalue, say, Mr. Thompson, how can you say that? But they don't have a solution.
But the reality on the ground, why? Because even with the depreciation alone, we've suffered some knocks already. So why should there be a deliberate policy to devalue our currency when you have majority of your debts in dollar terms? That means you still need more Ghana cedis to settle those debts.
Well, you need to increase income. Okay, so how do you do it? You tax more. You can't tax anybody because everybody, we're paying, everybody's up to their eyeballs in tax. We've got to sell more. And one sure way of promoting exports is to devalue. And countries have done it. China devalued last year, and that was followed by some devaluation, I think, in Indonesia and other Asian countries. There's always the issue as to whether we have the infrastructure to support export. But we have to start. And remember that we've had major devaluations in this country and we survived. And those devaluations had impact on revenue. We had devaluation in Achampon's time. It was a major devaluation. We had devaluation in Rawlins's time. It was a major devaluation. I think it went from, it was over 100%. I think it was over 100%. So we've been here before. And the same things that we did at the time, we have to do it now. I mean, oil was supposed to be our last card, but oil is crashed. Oil price has crashed. I even suspect that the government may have to go back with a supplementary budget because the estimates and the revenue estimates that were used in the budgets are different from what it is now. But what choices do we have? And I'm waiting for that person to come and tell Mr. Thompson, these are the things what we need to do. Basic, we need to sell more.
Meanwhile, President of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Seth Ejeba, is asking government to create an enabling environment for private sector to grow. He explains if government wants to save the sinking city, it must encourage local manufacturing and exports.
costs are so high that we find it difficult to expand our businesses. So if anybody wants to borrow, let's say at 38%, then the idea is that he's borrowing to go and do trade. But if you borrow at 38%, you cannot go into manufacturing. And that is a big challenge. So we need to get affordable money to be able to help us expand our businesses. We need to get electricity frequently at the right price to be able to meet the demand of market. Then the third thing is that we also to make sure that we have our money stabilized. If the currency is stable, we can plan ahead into the future and be able to expand our businesses and create the jobs that we are all yearning for. Because we are in an election year, a lot of other things are going to happen. Apart from demands and other things, people are going to resort to a lot of imports, which of course we are aware. Those who are bringing other things to support campaign. So that is also going to put pressure on the city. And the best bet is for us to help, if not for anything, to produce what we need, so that the money to use to import rice and other things could be used to cushion the other imports. The environment is not good, the atmosphere is not good. All indications are that private sector is going down, down, down. And if that is happening, it's a challenge for the economy and the economy in the country, because the private sector, as we all say, is the engine of growth. If the engine is not oil enough and it's not able to run, then where are we heading to? It's a challenge, but we are not just going to throw in the towel to say we folded up. We need to work and continue to engage until we are able to get a level to be able to operate.
Away from the city, air travelers may not enjoy reduced airfares anytime soon, despite government's ratification of the Cape Town Convention earlier this year. The convention allows airline operators to rent aircrafts, albeit without the crew, at a lower cost. This is projected to reduce their operational costs by about 30% and in turn lower airfares. But Chief Executive of Starbow Airline, James Eric Entry, tells Joy Business this may take a while.
Our wet lease expires, we're trying to go for dry, which is much better because it's more manageable, because you have your own crew to do the flights, and we have the Ghana Salvation Authority that we do operate, which are all very much concerned with. To help us in the long term. But not bring down the prices immediately, no, not immediate. It's like, no.
Your lease is expiring when? How soon before you start taking advantage of it?
So one of them will expire somewhere in March, one of them will expire somewhere in June, July, yes. So, but it depends how soon you can get equipment, new aircraft to operate with, that's the problem. But it will benefit in terms of convenience and maybe first, but not immediate now. But in the long run, in the long term, it's beneficial for both the passengers and then the airline operators as well.
And that's it for business. We are back again at 7 on Joy News Prime. But up next is sports. My name is Atani Delali.
So let's talk sports now on News Today, and Benedict also joins me now in studio with more. Hi, Benedict.
Hi, Cheche. And obviously, you know one place to start the sports this afternoon.
I know.
Where?
The reshuffle and your new minister.
But you know reshuffling of sports ministers is just like...
I don't know why. That particular ministry...
No, it's that's what I'm saying. That it's like the way I join you on the show every day to present sports.
It's interesting, yeah?
Well, so we start with the reshuffling of ministers, and we'll look at sports. And Dr. Mustafa Ahmed Jibril, as Ghana's sports minister, has come to an end after His Excellency President John Mahama changed him this morning and replaced him with ace sports broadcaster Honorable Edwin Lantebandapoy. Now, since the news came, lots of views have been expressed, and some sports analysts have been sharing their thoughts.
But the only thing is that that we know is also a sports person. He has been with sports, of course. During the time of E.T. Mensah, he was almost like a special aide to E.T. Mensah. He knows the sports. He as a sports broadcaster, he knows everything about sports. I know he's a revolutionist. He will come and help. So what I'm not too sure is he has almost less than 10 months, because you are going to election year. And when it's election year, it's difficult taking certain hardcore decisions. That is what I think about it. But hey, I believe that is the man. He decides to go where he's the coach, as the late President says. So he has decided, let's give Lilante the chance.
Lilante coming, we know how he is. He's got pedigree. He's a former commentator, former sports journalist, and the rest. He's been like a student in the ministerial job by learning as a deputy minister, and now he's been able to get this position. So what we expect of him is to do his best. Nilante should try and put up structures at Bukom, his constituency, like a put up synthetic pitches over there. If he's able to do that, we'll be very happy with him. He should not come and be seen as someone who is there to fight the GFA, or it will not help him. So many people.
And that's how we wrap up on news today. My name is Kwabena Chenchen Hinebotting. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. Good afternoon.